Hi everyone, this is Sarah, and if you haven't been following me, a couple of days ago I decided to start a challenge designing characters for 30 days until I get hired. And I set the most impossible rules for myself. I guess I was just in the mood for torturing myself. And you can see the rules here. Pause and read it, maybe, if you want to. So yeah, with a lot of traps that I set for myself, I took a deep breath in and I was ready for this self-inflicted misery, man. So I started working on it every day. The first day I started was a great success in terms of how my characters turned out. If I say it to myself, not to sound arrogant or anything, of course I had so much room to grow. And I waited, hoping that I might get some job offers. Just tiny rays of hope sparkling in my heart. But there was nothing, only the sound of crickets in my inbox. And so the next day came around and I was starting to see how hard it is to be consistently creative in a compressed period of time. So I gathered all of my energy and courage and decided to give it my best. And this was the result. And it was a decent result. I saw myself progressing. And so the next day came around and guess what? I am feeling a bit tired from the lack of sleep. So what I do is to just get to work without thinking. Yeah, that's my strategy, because I knew that if I give way to these feelings of exhaustion, I will lose the energy entirely. So I kept working late into the night, and then the next day, and the next day, and then there it was, right in my inbox, a character design offer. And I was relieved. I was completely relieved. It saved me. It saved me because right around those days, I was starting to get these agonizing headaches that I was so scared would actually force me to start over. As there was a rule that if I miss a single day, I have to start from the day one. It's stupid that I did that, but I just wanted to get hired so badly, I guess. It's the first time that I am working for a film, and before this I was doing commissions here and there and also YouTube, but I was actually practicing my character design so badly because I wanted to become a character designer, but I always wanted to actually be a part of a bigger project. And I was so lucky that I got an offer for a film in the crime fiction genre, which is one of my favorite genres, and I am so excited to start working on this project. And they said I can actually share the process, which means that I can post about it here. So I will be updating you guys on how my character designs are going and show you a sneak peek of behind the scenes of my designs. And this is so exciting because I get the chance to meet other members of the project, which means that I can meet other character designers, animators, storyboard artists, and background artists, and also voice actors. So that's pretty cool. And that is a huge perk of a team project, because I always wanted to work with other artists from other areas of art, and I love meeting creative people because it's just that I have been working solo for a good portion of my career, and getting a chance at teamwork is such an eye-opening experience. So here I was getting hired after just 6 days of doing this challenge, thinking to myself how much opportunities I have missed before just because I didn't ask for it. And yeah, maybe I lost a bit of sleep here and there, but it was worth it. And let it be a lesson for everybody that if you actually are determined to do something, if you do it for a long period of time, you're eventually gonna get it. It's just the natural law of this universe. But yeah, so many things can go wrong in so many directions, but at least you were not sitting there watching the time go by. And if you actually think about it, have you been consistent with your habit? I am asking myself, okay, have I been consistent with my habits that I am complaining that I didn't achieve the thing that I wanted? Have I been consistent with the work that I should be putting in? Have I been consistently doing things for that specific reason for a long period of time, like a year or 2 years, heck, even 5 years? Did I actually put in that much work? Did I make it a part of my identity? Did I prove it to myself that I can be consistent with what I want to achieve? And the answer is probably not. Most definitely not. If you haven't achieved those things, then I'm sure that you did not put that much work into it. I did not put so much work into what I wanted to achieve, and no wonder I haven't achieved them yet. And that's what I mean. I started drawing so many years ago, but I wasn't really consistent with what I wanted to do. I was not working on character design per se. I was working on other areas, like I would just draw landscapes with watercolor. And since I was interested in digital drawing, I started drawing digitally, but not so much. I would just go back to traditional drawing, which is not a bad thing, but like my goal was different. And I was not respecting the goal, so I was not doing the thing that was needed for that goal to be met. And I was still sad that I'm not getting there. I mean, how stupid is that? Most of the things that we are sad about are so freaking stupid that if we actually think about it logically, that feeling will just vanish. And sometimes we need to take a break and refresh our mindset, and that's all right. I mean, last month, I came out of this period of so much work and so much pressure that I was completely burned out. I was not able to think of ideas. I was not even inspired in any kind of way. I was just like feeling empty, as if there was nothing that I could possibly do. There was nothing that I could possibly create. And that was only because I was burning myself to crisp, because I was doing a job and at the same time I had to do my creative work. The job was actually draining my creativity. And then when it came to my creative work, I was doing anything to get that creativity back. So I was like going back and forth all the time. And it was putting my brain in a very miserable state that I was like suffering through a lot of things. I kind of lost the sense of being inspired or excited about anything. So it was like the pure burnout that they talk about. And I was reluctant to take a break to rest and refresh my mindset. And after like a few weeks, I figured that, yeah, I have to just keep quiet and relax and just refresh myself. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be able to recover. And that was an understanding that I never had. I thought that I have to work all the time. Yeah, I think that I learned my lesson. And I think that it's a very good lesson for others to apply to their own life as well, because sometimes we become so hard on ourselves. I don't know what is the reason of that, but like I was so hard on myself. I was like feeling very bad if I took a little bit of break. When you take a deep dive into it, you know that you're trapped in a rat race in a way. You're competing with all sorts of people that are not showing the truth of themselves, and you're, trapped in this social media kind of race that you want to be like others. You want to have as much progress as others are making, and that's exactly the fault with our system. We are not seeing the reality as it is. We're just seeing a very augmented version of reality, and people are not showing their struggles. All they show is what they have achieved and how happy they are and how on track they are, because that is attractive. But if you show your misery and how much you're struggling and how much you're working, that is not actually attractive. So it is a kind of world that has been created by us, and I feel like this is kind of the same as the world that George Orwell talks about in 1984. It's just so freaking strange and unreal, and we're not seeing the reality as it is, just because we have been thrown into this social media that we tend to hide our ugly parts and to show the pretty part only, which is so not inspiring. If you want to actually follow somebody, you have to know that they're struggling as well. Otherwise, you're just always gonna think that everybody's just ahead of you and you're falling behind, and that feeling is just gonna spiral out of control, which is gonna lead to you feeling bad if you actually take a break, if you actually take one simple break. Maybe that break is going for a walk or traveling for a week or reading books or writing or anything, any creative activity, any creative task, or anything that might be working for you that can remove all these negative sort of tension that you've built up. And I am speaking about that because I see how you can be caught up in this rat race of improving yourself all the time, and like being really productive to a point that you're just busy for the sake of being busy, which doesn't do anything for us. Productivity is actually being responsible for what you have to take care of. You have to take care of your own mental health. You have to take care of your body. You have to take care of so many other things that might not feel as productive, but it is actually the foundation of you being productive. If you sharpen yourself on so many fronts, like physically and mentally and in all sorts of ways, that's when you become productive. But if you just say, yeah, I'm gonna just spend time working too hard, putting in as much effort as I can, and not actually achieve anything just because you were drained out of ideas and you were still just forcing yourself to work, even though your brain was absolutely empty, that is the fault with the system of the quote unquote being productive. I think being productive does also mean that you have been taking care of yourself. Does also mean that you have a very good sleep schedule. Does also mean that you are being good to people and you're working on your attitude and you're working on your physical well-being. And all of those things are the foundation of you being productive. If you take care of that, you are good to go. Like, we all know that so many creative people just been working for 4 hours on a daily basis, and the rest of it they would spend on just walking, taking a rest, and having a space in their mind so that they can come up with creative ideas. And that might not feel productive, but it is surely the most productive thing that you could possibly do. And so those are the lessons that I learned. I talked about a few of them in this video, and I wanted to thank all of you guys because you've been so supportive in the 30 days challenge, and I was like receiving encouraging messages from you guys left and right, and it was easy because I had you guys. So thank you so much. Have a nice day and stay creative.